like they say. So my name is Ayoub Alouane. I'm CTO Academy at Serviu, based in Paris, but originally I'm from Morocco. And today I will talk about web performance and more specific about the African case. So the first question that people may ask is why the African case? Why this case is important? So to explain what, maybe we should start with small context to get what's going on there, and after we will understand why. So I will start with simple statistics here that show the penetration rate of internet in Africa. Okay, and like we can see, the world average there is about 70%. But if we go to Southern Africa, it's a country that is developed, so they have more. Northern Africa, like countries like Morocco, Tunisia, and all of these countries, they have a better internet penetration. But if you go, for example, to the middle of Africa or the Eastern Africa, it's so low. And why? Because they don't have really a good infrastructure there, so there is no ADSL or fiber optic. And what is the problem that came with that? If we do another statistics with the devices used in Africa, we will find that the most devices used are mobile phone, okay? So generally, people in the middle of Africa and in Eastern Africa doesn't have access to laptops, for example, because they are not affordable for them. So they use mobile devices. If he should go to work, he want to do something in internet, he will use his mobile device, okay? And I think that the 23% of laptops there and tablets are more likely in Southern Africa and in the Northern Africa. If you go to the middle or on the Eastern of Africa, I think most people, if they use internet, if they have a device, they will have a mobile phone. So the third question that we can ask here is if they are using mobile phones. Here, maybe you can see another thing here. For example, we can see a statistics for the price of 15 gigabytes of internet. Okay, so we can imagine here. So if you're watching a video in YouTube with the quality of 480p, okay, 1 hour of this video, it will take you 500 megabytes of internet, okay? So if you watch one video per day for a month, you will consume 15 gigabytes of internet. I did well the calculation, I think, yes? So if someone in middle of Africa or in the eastern of Africa, he bought 15 gigabytes of internet per month, he has a right to watch only 1 hour of a video in YouTube per day, okay? He can't do more. And we can see here statistics for the minimum wage in some places. So for example, if you go to Benin, and when I say the minimum wage, it's the minimum wage per month, of course, okay? So and generally the minimum wage is the wage, okay? That's what's going on. And if we see, for example, a country like Benin, the minimum wage is, I think, $70 for a month. And if he wants to buy 15 gigabytes of internet per month, he should pay the 50% of his salary, okay? I don't think that he will buy 15 gigabytes of internet, so maybe he will not buy it, or he will buy only one gigabyte or something like that, okay? So this is the problem of accessibility of internet there, because they rely on mobile devices. There is no infrastructure of fiber infrastructure of fiber optic or ADSL, so they should use mobile devices with mobile internet, so they will consume more data. There is no unlimited data there, okay? And we have another country, for example, like Chad, it's the same thing. Cape Verde, it's the same thing. Burkina Faso, I think the minimum wage is the same price as 15 gigabytes of internet. And if we go to another country like Zimbabwe, the price for 15 gigabytes of internet per month, it's 3 times the minimum wage, okay? If we see, for example, Malawi, it's, I think, 4 times the minimum wage, okay? If we see Namibia, it's, I think, 3 times the minimum wage. So if you want 15 gigabytes of internet per month, maybe he should not consume anything and get 3 months' salary to buy it, okay? So here, what I'm trying to talk about here is if we are working on our web, if we are doing applications, and maybe if they access internet, I'm sure they will not access YouTube, they will not use YouTube, they will not use videos, they will use only what they want for their classes or something like that. So if we are working on some websites and we leverage on the website, for example, to the browser, 30 megabytes of internet in every load, maybe we'll consume 2 salaries of a guy in the middle of Africa or in the eastern of Africa. And that's why I'm talking about web performance and the African case. Because when I started talking about the web performance, how we should not leverage a lot of JavaScript to the browser and all of that, maybe in the European context or in US, some people find it not so relevant, okay? No, we have internet, it's cheap, we have access to fiber optic, so we don't care. But for other peoples in other countries, in another continent, maybe we should care about that, okay? So we are here talking about mobile devices. I have another statistic here for the most mobile devices used in Africa. If you can see here, you can see, so the most, we have Apple. I don't think that is really used there. It's between 2 or 6%. And the most used devices are affordable Samsung and affordable smartphones like Tecno, Itel, Xiaomi, Huawei. So, and when I'm saying affordable phones, I mean that it's not a phone with the 12 gigabytes of RAM, okay? So it's phone with the 2 gigabytes of RAM or 3 maximum. So that's what they can use. Why I'm talking about that? I'm talking about that because we should not have a browser that's consume all 2 giga or 4 gigabytes of RAM, because if we are thinking about people there, they can do it, okay? Because they are using internet that is so expensive, so they should consume less internet, and they are using phones that don't have good resources like RAM or CPUs, okay? So we should care about that also when we are working on our websites. I have another statistic or not? No. Okay. That was it about the African context. I think that now you have another view of what's going there. And here I'm talking about the middle of Africa and the eastern there. And how I get interested in this case. Because one day I was doing an interview, a work interview in my company with the guy who is living in, I think, in Burkina Faso. And we finished the interview, it was cool. So I told him, I need to do another one tomorrow, okay? And he told me, no, I will not do it. I should planify that in next week. So I said, why, you're working, you have something? He told me, no, because I should rent a local desk to do the interview with you. And I should rent it for an hour, for example. I told him why. He told me because I don't have internet, so I should go to the city, to the center of city, to rent this local to do the interview with you. Because if I'm in my house, I don't have access to internet. I will pay more money to get mobile internet to do the interview with you. And I started doing some research to see if he's talking because it was so strange for me to rent a local to do an interview work. Okay, but I found that he was right. Now, there is the African context, but there is also other cases that we should care about. We have, for example, here Core Web Vitals that are metrics introduced by Google. But before talking about Core Web Vitals, I have a picture here. So I wrote in ChatGPT, generate for me a Moroccan guy who is waiting for a couscous. Okay, this is Moroccan couscous. I don't know if there is some restaurants, Moroccan restaurants here in Coimbra. I don't think so. I searched for that, but I didn't find. In Lisbon, I think yes. So imagine if you are in a restaurant and you want to eat a couscous, for example, but when you told the waiter that, he said you should wait for it 45 minutes and you should pay $200, okay, or euros. I think that's too much, okay? So maybe you will not wait, you will go and search for another restaurant. Maybe you will wait, but you will never come back. And maybe you will write some bad reviews in Google, okay? So what I'm trying to explain here is there is a user experience. We should care also about the user experience. If we are working on a website that we should wait a lot of time to get it, that's not a good user experience, so maybe the user will go and search for another website. And not only that, we have Google that introduces some metrics like largest contentful page, and they use these metrics to rank your websites in Google search, okay? So they rank your website based on its performance, okay? So here we have, for example, large contentful page. It means that it score the most largest content in your website. If you have, for example, an image that took more than 4 seconds, it's poor, they will not rank you well, okay? That's not good. If you have, for example, cumulative layout shift. What is cumulative layout shift? Cumulative layout shift, like we have here, for example, I found this example, so I used it. For Financial Times, when you click on ft.com, you get this page, and when you want, after 2 seconds, click on sign in, you will get this ad, okay? And you will click on the ad. That's not a good user experience, so Google is detecting this cumulative layout shift in your page, and Google scores your page based on that. So if you have a lot of blocks in your website that move a lot, they will score it bad, and you will not get your website ranked well, okay? And we have something else called FID, first input delay. So first input delay is the time taken by, for example, if we have a button that is displayed, but it's not working. Sometimes you click on a button, but it's not working, but after 2 seconds, it works. Why? Because when you clicked on this button, you didn't have JavaScript for it to work, okay? So after 2 seconds, it downloaded JavaScript, it executed it in the browser, and now it's working. So Google is also tracking that. So if you have a button, for example, that take more than 300 milliseconds to work, it's there, but it's not working, it will not score well your website. And that's not good to be well ranked in Google search. We have other things here, for example, like websites, like, for example, Cook, that improved their websites only by 850 milliseconds faster, and they got 7% more conversion. So we have the African case that they are looking only to get access to internet, but when we are in other countries, they need to sell. We are in a capitalist system, so they need to sell more, and if you want to sell more, you should have a performant website to do that. If you have an e-commerce website that doesn't perform well, people will leave it and go to another one to take their things, okay? So here I will talk about the web evolution. So I will start with the SPA that we get after 2010 with the AngularJS. So how it's working normally? So for example, when we have a website that we've done with our SPA frameworks, it's working very simple. You send the HTML that contains nothing. You wait for your page to be loaded. So after that, you download the JavaScript needed. You execute the JavaScript that you need for your website. And after that, you render the JavaScript, and now you have your page working good. But there is a time here between the page is displayed and it's a blank page, and the page is interactive, okay? So what we try to do with hydration is that first we send an HTML that contains a lot of information that you need to display your page, but your page is not working, okay? Because there is no JavaScript. It appears faster, but it's not interactive, and you should wait for your JavaScript to be downloaded. You should execute the same JavaScript, and now you can do the process of reconciliation or hydration to get your page working and interactive. And that's why we're talking about FID, the metric of Core Web Vitals. It will calculate the time between your page is there and it's working, it's interactive. And if you take a lot of time between these two steps, it will not score you good. So here, why I'm talking about problems that we face maybe in our web and globally in web performance. So maybe we should present some solutions that we have now in our field. So I will go to what? Okay, so this is a good graph that I have here for correlation between performance in JavaScript and interactivity. Like you know, in these days, we need more interactivity in our websites, okay? So if we need more interactivity in our websites, we need more JavaScript for our pages. If we want more JavaScript for our pages, we should download more JavaScript, we should execute more JavaScript. That's not good for performance, and that's not good for the African case, what I'm talking about. If you have someone who is downloading more than 30 megabytes, that's not good, and if he's executing 30 megabytes of JavaScript in his browser, it's not good for the resources of his phone, okay? And now I will talk about resumability. So resumability, it's a paradigm presented by Quick, a new framework called Quick, but it was already there with Wiz. Wiz, it's an internal framework in Google. And also for Marco framework, it's an eBay framework. So here, how it's working resumability. So it's the same thing. We send your HTML, your page is displayed, but now it's interactive. So the question here maybe that we can ask is how it's interactive without JavaScript. Because in the HTML that you send first, you will get a small code of JavaScript, 1 kilobyte, that contain a global listener that listen to your interaction of interactions that you do with your websites, and it will go and execute the JavaScript needed for this interaction. Okay? So that's how it's working. How can I show you that? Maybe I will do a demo to show you how it's working, okay? And if we use this paradigm of only download and execute what we know, what we need for the JavaScript for our website, what we need to interact with, I will not download all the JavaScript for my website, like if I use SPA, for example. If I do that, I can scale my app, okay? You can have all what you want in your page, but will not execute it, because the user didn't interact with this yet. So to show you that, I will show you a demo. I have 7 minutes for that. I wish it would be, okay, so I see if it's going. Okay, so what I did before, I created here a route for my JNation, and I created my first component. I only did the small test, and here it's working fine. Okay, so here what I did is I did minus Vite because I don't need Vite in production. I have it in prod, but here I'm showing the JavaScripts that I will download in the first when I will show my page. If I reload my page, I will download nothing. I don't have JavaScript files. If you are using SPA, you will have bundle.js that you should download in the first time so you can interact with your page. Here I'm using Quick, so I have nothing. If I use all, you will get your CSS, your HTML, and that's it. So if I use JS, there is nothing. And what I will do is I will create here a simple button, okay? I will call it JNation. And here, I will call it, so I will start with a simple button, okay? I will do a simple on click, and here I will use simple console log. So what you should imagine here is that behind this console log is your JavaScript code, because we are doing a simple demo, so we will use only a console. But when you're working with your website, you have a lot of JavaScript to display in your website, okay? So here I will save. I have my button, and when I refresh the page, I have nothing, okay? So after clicking on this JNation here, I will get the JavaScript needed for this button only, okay? So why I'm talking about, and if I create another button, for example, here, I will add another one. I will call it Lisbon, okay? JNation Coimbra, okay? If I click on this JNation button, I will get the JavaScript needed for this one. I will get it executed in the browser. And if I click on the second one, I will get it now, and it will be executed there, okay? So what's the good thing about that? Is that Quick is using, in the background, a service worker that take the job of downloading the JavaScript needed, the chunks of JavaScript needed for your buttons or for the interaction that you will do with your website, and only what is displayed. And they will store that in the cache, okay? But they will execute nothing, okay? And that's good for the performance of your hardware that you are using. So you will not have a DOM that is bombarded with a lot of JavaScript that is executed already, but you don't use it. Here, and what it will do, it will delay the execution of your JavaScript. It will take time. If you interact with something, it will execute it. If you don't interact with that, it will not use it, okay? And that's the good thing about using Quick. Here I will do another example. So I will take an example of a code that I need when I will start my page. I will take a simple clock. So here I will do import, and here I will call my clock, okay? If I go to my website, what I can see now is that I have the JavaScript needed for this clock because I should display it the moment I show the website. So I need to download this JavaScript, okay? Because I'm using here, use visible task. When it's visible, you should download it from the start. You can't delay the download of that, okay? So like we can see here, it's working. But imagine that we have this code that is in the footer, for example. You have JavaScript that should be displayed in your first page, but you will not show it when the user will click on your page. So it will be in the footer, okay? So here, for example, we have no JavaScript because it's not shown, it's not executed, because the user will not use it now, okay? If we will scroll and go down to our page, it will download it will execute the JavaScript, but it downloaded already in your service worker and stored it in the cache, and now it will execute this JavaScript here. So what I will do is I have nothing, I scroll, and I will get this JavaScript that I need, okay? So why I'm talking about that? I don't have a lot of time to show you a lot of demo, but if I have to finish my talk, I will finish it with the slides that I showed you already. And it's also why I showed this demo and to talk about web performance is to really see that there is other cases in the world that maybe for us it will be relevant to use some new paradigms, but for other peoples in other countries, they have less access than us, they have less hardwares that are more performant than us, they are relying on affordable phones, and they are relying on an expensive internet for them because they don't have access to internet, because they don't have good minimum wage there. So they can, for example, like I showed you here, if they want to watch a video of 1 hour in YouTube per day, they will take for them 3 months of salary if they do that, okay? Because the minimum wage there, for example, in Malawi, it's the price for 15 gigabytes, it's, I think, 4 times of the minimum wage. And that's why we should care about web performance. We should care about the JavaScript that we are leveraging in our websites. And that was my talk, and thank you.